Blue Cross, just to name a few, and are committed to finding a plan that is best for you. Your referrals are greatly appreciated. If you have a family or friend you think would benefit from having a conversation about their Medicare options, please call Senior Advocate 860-680-7271 to book your appointment. Looking forward to assisting you.
All right. Good evening, each and every one of you out there in Radio Land. Good evening to you, and welcome once again. Welcome to GL365 Radio, and we are live on Gospel Vibes Radio FM and all our ministry connecting partners. I want to say good evening to you, man. Thank you so very much for allowing us this opportunity to be on your platform. It is the official book launch of Dr. Delroy Lingo, and he has a new book. Cancer is not a death sentence. Cancer is not a death sentence. And so we're here with Dr. Lingo and a special guest, as a matter of fact. The editor of the book is also with us, Mr. Joe Benjamin, who's going to be sharing with us this evening. So keep it locked right here, man. Don't move a muscle. Don't go nowhere. All right, my name is Dr. Delroy Bramwell, and I am a CEO of GL365 Radio. And I have some really, really nice guys with me this evening, man. So we're going to have a conversation, have a little dialogue this evening. So let me introduce each of them one at a time. Let me introduce to you the man who has a new title to his name. He has a new title to his name. He's now an author. Okay, he's an author, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Lingo is officially an author now, sir. Good evening to you, sir. One moment. Let me. There we go. I think I can hear you now. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me? I'm not getting any audio from you. Unmute your mic on the mixer board.
You should be getting it now.
Yes, sir. Now we get to you loud and
clear.
Yeah. Good to have you, man. Welcome.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Thanks. Good to be here. I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, you know.
Welcome, sir. Myself, too. I know your experience, and I definitely wanted to be able to share this moment with you, the official launch of your book, sir. Do you want to welcome our special guest?
Oh yes, oh yes. Indeed, a man of God, my brother Joe Benjamin. I tell you, the Lord just has a way of doing things, but we'll get into that later. But let me just welcome this gentleman. Did all the heavy lifting, and it's
Mm.
nothing short of a miracle
Yeah.
to really have gotten this project out at the time that it did, and for what it
Uh-huh.
is that we are actually going to read. He
Mm-hmm.
is nothing short of a miracle, and he was unpicked by God to deliver this
Mm-hmm.
story to the nation in a particular way. Let
Mm-hmm.
me just say quickly, somebody when I decided to do it, somebody recommended me to somebody else, and I actually called the person and set up an appointment. But somewhere within myself, I'm like, I don't think this person is right because
Mm-hmm.
the nature of the book, it has to be somebody that is spiritually connected.
Mm-hmm.
It needs somebody that is really spiritually connected, that can connect with what it is that I went through and what it is that I'm trying to put out. And
Mm-hmm.
after I was on a webinar and I jumped off the webinar and just got an email directly from this gentleman. He was having a webinar trying to encourage writers, and I jumped on to listen because it perked my curiosity, and
Mm-hmm.
I listened to him. It was more encouraging you to become a writer, and I realized that a part of what he do too is write and produce and all of that kind of a good stuff. So we had a conversation after, and the rest is history. I realized that this is God sent, and man, I couldn't have made a better decision.
Wow.
So
Wow.
this man comes highly recommended. I'd recommend
Highly
anybody that has a
recommend.
dream and a goal, and you have
Yes.
always wanted to write a book. This is
Mm-hmm.
the man. This would have taken me 2 to 3 years, and it took him months.
What
So,
is that?
ladies and gentlemen, my brother and my friend, Mr. Joe
All right.
Benjamin.
Mr. Joel, good to have you, man.
I'm honored to be here, excited and honored to be here. And
Yeah.
congratulations, Dr. Lingo, for
Thank you,
this
sir.
massive achievement. It's been amazing to work with you.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Wow. 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 All right. We're going to start with Joe. All right. We're going to start with Mr. Joe Benjamin. We want Mr. Joe Benjamin to tell us a little bit about himself and what he did, what is his contribution as far as the book is concerned.
So, thank you, Dr. Bramwell, for hosting me, and excited and feel honored to be part of this amazing day as well. Now, what do I do? Basically, I do a few things, but one of the things that I love to do is to help people, anybody that God has given a message or a
Mm.
mission that they feel they want to share with the world. We help
Mm-hmm.
you amplify that message, particularly working with authors, where we help you to get your book out without any overwhelm.
Right.
The biggest thing that I've seen for authors and people that have a story to tell is that they may not have the complete skill set, writing, editing, putting things together. They have a story to tell, but don't
Mm-hmm.
have the aptitude in some areas. So that's where we come
Right.
in. We take your
Mm-hmm.
story in its
Mm-hmm.
entirety, in its purity, and we just make it happen. Whatever it takes to get it, to make it happen, we do that. So we've helped quite a few authors by the grace of God, and we're working mainly with Christian authors. Even though we have worked with, and we will still work with people, different genres, but I
Mm-hmm.
found a gap in the Christian fraternity
Mm-hmm.
of Holy Ghost filled editors that are able to say it as it is.
Mm.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of the authors that came to me,
Uh-huh.
they'd been with another publisher, and as they were sharing their testimony with this publisher,
Mm-hmm.
the publisher didn't believe their story.
Mm-hmm.
So they were asking them questions about this, and they
Mhm.
just couldn't believe the miraculous. It was like a miraculous healing, almost just like what we had with Dr. Lingo. But
Right.
with us, we believe you, man. We love miracles.
Yeah.
We love this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I think it makes a difference who you trust and who you're going to put your work
Work.
into their
Mm.
hands, because they've got to understand you. So when they hear you, they can also help you just get that message out.
Wow, wow,
Yes,
wow, wow,
so
wow.
that's a little bit. Happy to take more questions, or I don't want to keep going.
All right, that's all right. What would well tell me this one thing. What do you enjoy about what do you enjoy most about writing? Is it the story or you put it together the plot or what do you enjoy most about writing?
Right. So for me, what I enjoy the most
Mm-hmm.
is seeing the author moving into that place of destiny, because
Mm-hmm.
I have a team. You see, so
Mm-hmm.
I've got a team. I've got a team who does proofreading. I've got an illustrator. I've got people that are writers. I write as well. I've written a few books, so I also
Mm-hmm.
enjoy all of that. But my greatest joy is to seeing an individual walk in the fullness of their destiny, purpose. And believe being an
Mm-hmm.
author is one of those
Right,
things.
right.
And for me, it wasn't just writing books. I mean, I've helped people start online ministries. I've helped people understand the prophetic. I've helped people start ministries and different things like that, start businesses, online businesses. It's just
Mm-hmm.
seeing somebody that has a vision, that has a dream, and just standing alongside them to get their vision and their dream come to life. And I like, where you start with zero, seeing
Right.
something. And I remember when I
Mm-hmm.
first spoke with Dr. Lingo, he just says, Joe, here's my story. And on the first day, he was already telling me stories. I says, okay, hang on, hang on, hang on. I want to record this. I need to make sure I record everything, right?
That's my
But he was
guy.
just,
That's my
and I
guy.
just like that building. I believe I'm a builder, and I don't mind starting from zero and
Right.
seeing something being built until it's fully. So that's what keeps me up at night, and that what gives me a drive. So what I do, even though it's a business, but I feel it's more like a calling of just helping people that are struggling in a particular area where we're gifted, that we have the skill sets and the people just to move them forward.
All right. Well, let's move on to the man himself. Let's move on to the man himself, Dr. Lingo. Um, I've known him a long time, a very long time, for that matter. When I was a little teeny weeny, weeny guy, and so we've come a long way. To watch him, to watch him go through what he went through was kind of rough for me. It was kind of rough for me. Yeah, sorry. My engineer is telling me that I need to raise our audio up a little bit more, so let me get that done. All right, yeah, but it was a bit rough for me to watch him go through what he was going through, and I tell you, I to see the end result, which we're going to get to, is a whole nother story. So let me give him a chance to share his experience with us today, and I'm glad, very excited that I have that privilege today. So, Dr. Lingo,
Yes, sir.
the big word, CANCER. Wow, you find yourself in that situation. Tell us about your life before that came up.
Okay, life before cancer to me was exciting, in the sense that from a health perspective, I think one of the things that I'm really blessed with is good health. And some people get riches, some get fame, some get power. I got good health, and I was grateful as long as I know myself. It was maybe about 2 years or 3 years before this incident that I ever see
Right.
an hospital. The only time I go to doctor is annually to take checkup. And I used to say, why am I paying all these money for insurance? Because I've never used it. I said, if I put that money in a bank and save it, I might have been better off. Because, like I said, I had excellent health. And so I took that for granted. And I was just living life. I do promotion production, and I host events. So I'm always traveling Canada, Canada, Cayman, different places, back and forth. Doing events, going with artists that I manage, and going on tours and going on cruises that I love. So I had a very hectic life, very exciting, hectic life. A nice family, nice wife. Everything was really just moving in the right direction. That's what my life was like.
That's life before. And I mean, I know you are a very wonderful MC, so you're always on the go,
Yes,
always on the go,
always. Yes.
traveling all around the world. You're a cruiser, love to cruise, so I know you were doing a lot of those things, and then here comes the situation. What was your experience, Dr. Lingo, during your diagnosis?
Okay. All right. The thing is that going to doctor annually to do my checkup, they would always recommend at certain age, they recommend that you do the colonoscopy.
Right.
And I've always not paid it much mind. I get the paperwork, I take it home, I look on it, and I put it one side because I'm banking that, man, I'm good. And not
Yeah.
just that, from a Caribbean, more so Jamaican perspective, we have this little thing about us that, for somebody, it's not masculine for somebody to do certain kind of tests. We detest that, and to our own detriment because of how we were brought up and how it sounded, you
Right.
know. And so, because of that reason, I didn't have that interest. And again, I was having good health until the day when I went and the doctor, he was doing some tests, one of the same tests that we don't like. And he said it feels a little enlarged, nothing to worry about. But let me do it. So he tests something, put it in a bottle, and throw some liquid in it, and the color change. He said, "This doesn't look good. You need to go do a colonoscopy." And I'm like, "Wow." So he introduced me to a surgeon, and I went with high hopes, of course. Not because I know I was having some bleeding, and that was one of the reasons. We call it pile in Jamaica. I had pile, and that is something that ongoing for a period of time. So that's the best. I just cut call said that's what the situation was. And when I did it, and he said, "Well, I saw some pulps and whatever, and I took them off, but I saw something that didn't look too good." So I said, "No, everything is okay. Don't worry about it." And so I forget everything about it. And then I was at the studio with Gifton. I was mixing Fly Away Home Rhythm. That was the album I was working on.
Wow.
And we were
Big
mixing the
song.
album. And just as I drove up to the studio, my phone rang. And the doctor said, "Mr. Lingo, this is Dr. Whatever." I said, "Oh, yeah, how you doing?" He said, "Well, I have, for you, it might not be good news. I know this is not the news I wanted to hear, but the test came back and you're positive for colon cancer." And the minute he said that, I heard it as clear as crystal. Cancer is not a death sentence.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that kind of just consumed me and allowed me not to even start thinking negative. I remember when I went into the studio and I told the engineer, who was a Christian from Africa, and when I was experiencing, he said, "Say no more, let us pray." And we started to pray. And honestly, I felt like angels were in the studio. The power of God came down so powerful. And that just kind of consoled me. So even though I heard it, and I didn't say anything to my wife until maybe about a couple of days after. I kind of, one of the good things, I wasn't scared. I wasn't thinking about death. I wasn't worried about anything. And over the process, I said, God must have
Right.
allowed me to have, because that's not naturally me. Over the years, because of concert, it has taught me how to be balanced. In other words, I used to put on lots of concert and lose a lot of money. And so it is that after a while it becomes to a place like once it happens, I said, you know what? There's no need to cry over spilled milk. Let me try do something else. So that aspect of it was building up. But to the point where I hear that I have cancer and not to worry, not to miss a night's sleep or anything of that nature was definitely God, and the fact that He told me that cancer is not a death sentence. So that was what happened, and then to me something that I kept. I spoke to my wife, I told my pastor and one of my sister and very few persons because I felt a kind of peace within my soul.
Right.
And I didn't want anybody call and try to persuade me or anybody call and feel sorry for me. And every time somebody called, they would be going over the old process. I just felt deep in my spirit that I need to just go through this with God. And then that's what I did.
Wow, 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 wow. Let me ask, Brother Joe, have you written any book on anyone going through this kind of experience, like a sickness experience?
No, no.
This is the
This
first
was
time.
a very exciting book, but
Mm.
also very serious, very deep and sober book that we did. So yeah, it's I know we've not had somebody with a story this a miracle this big. It's just amazing that because I always say this, and I think I even said it when in the webinar, and I think we said that we don't have enough believers testifying
Amen.
about those amazing things that God does.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's difficult sometimes to prove to unbelievers that God is still alive, He's still a miracle working God. So when I saw Dr. Lingo coming with such a subject, I was like, my goodness, we need more of these acts of miracles, so that they are etched in history. That book is now there in history. In 100 years from now, somebody can read the testimony
Right.
of Dr. Lingo's healing. And yeah, I don't think believers are documenting. And the reason why most people don't do that, because sometimes they feel like nobody's going to believe their story
Right.
because
Right.
it's too
Right.
fantastic, it's
So,
too miraculous, it's too
right.
all that.
I'm agree.
So yeah, no, so it was a real blessing to have such an amazing testimony in our portfolio.
Right. Well, Dr. Lingo, I remember we were on the phone and we talked maybe a couple of days before your surgery. And then I couldn't hear from you for a few hours, several hours. I mean, went by. No word from you at all until the following day or two. That's when I heard from you. So during that silence, sir, during that whole silence, because when I heard from you, you said, "Man, you did it," and that kind of stuff. What was going on in your head? You know, you're sitting in front of the doctors. You're ready. You're prepped for surgery, and you're ready to get this done. In your mindset, what was going on there?
Okay. Personally, like I said, I was at a very good place.
Right.
I recognized this was the first time I was doing a surgery. I didn't have a lot of experience as to what a surgery is in depth, but I
Right.
know it was surgeries are always life and death. Once you go under, you're not guaranteed to
You're
come
guaranteed.
back over. So I know that aspect of it, and so what I
Yeah.
did was try to make sure my life was at a place that should this be a one-way street, then I would be ushered into glory. So I prepared that my mindset, that psyche, to get myself in a place where I'm saying, Lord, I'm depending on you. I trust you, and I had no doubt as to whether or not you're gonna come through. One of the things, talking to the doctors, one of my main concern was the ostomy bag, because when he explained what it was, I was like, no, that not sound like something cute. And you know, me, that man love wear white, and it not sound like he go with the white at all.
Why? Why
That,
not go work?
with the bag and that now work. So that was my major concern. He said, well, there's a probability that it can be reversed. Sometimes it can't. But I said, God, I'm trusting you. But when I went in to do the prep, my wife was with me, and I know she must have been wondering. I was as happy. I mean, she was. When you look at her, you could see fear. She was worried, and I was just waiting, and they came and did the prepping, and I was just happy, just waiting. There was no little, I didn't, there was no fear in me going in, doing something like that for the first time. God somehow had kept me, and that was because I kept it silent. So I didn't have a lot of conversation or anybody to kind of sway me. I remember the day before I did the surgery because they wanted to do it, and I said, "Sir, real talk, I'm not doing the surgery before until after 4th of July." Because we have a cookout at church, and that now miss me. So we planned it. I think it was about the 5th or the 6th of July. Yes, because the 4th of July we had it the Saturday night. We had church the Sunday, and I was going to do it the Monday. The Sunday, when I left church and was heading home, just as I was going through the door, somebody came to me, and I said to them, I have surgery tomorrow. And she said, "What?" I said, "Your husband didn't tell you?" She said, "No, he didn't say anything to me." And I said, "Yes." She said, "What happened?" And I told her I had cancer. And she said to me, says that kill ABC.
Mm, mm,
The day before I go to do my surgery, and I said, God, I know she didn't mean any harm.
yeah,
But
yeah.
these are the kind of reflex. Sometimes when you talk to people about your situation, they're going to tell you about somebody they know where either had it and is doing good, or somebody that it killed. And all of these things I didn't really want to encounter.
Experience.
So I said, God, I just want to, you give me a serenity, that kind of a peace of mind. And I kept it. After it was finished, my family and I kind of had a little up and up because they was not pleased that I didn't say to anybody until after the surgery. But that's how I felt. And I'm glad. And after everything, and I explained to them, they came to the understanding, because I know they would be calling me every minute and all of that. So that was the way I chose, or God allowed me to. And it was the best thing I did, because my mind was at a good place. And I was in a position that I said, God, if in any way it work, I am willing. I was not scared of death in the least. That was the farthest thing from my mind. I was not scared of it. I said, wifey, if it's a choice, and God said, heaven, or you want to come back. I said, God, I really want to come finish, but I really come chill with you. I told my wife, I said, babes, honestly, if that is the choice, I would really choose heaven. I was at a place where death wasn't anything that I worry about, and I thank God for that.
I remember speaking to her, and actually on the cruise, I remember she even said it on the cruise too, that this is not what she signed up for.
Exactly.
So
God, I'm not asking for a husband, but never signed up for that one.
I didn't sign up for this. I mean, asking for a husband, and here we are. So, well, surgery happened, diagnosis happened, surgery happened. You left the hospital. What's your healing journey like?
The healing journey was, as a matter of fact, from the minute I did the surgery, and the next morning I got up in the hospital, and nurses come to look on you, and they look on the thing, and they said everything looks good so far. And then I had to kind of learn to walk all over again. So the person would come to take me, and they came one morning, and every other morning from that, when they came, I already done my circle around and come back. So I was not one of those that just sit down and waiting for
Yeah,
people to
yeah.
come and do stuff. Even when they were changing the ostomy bag, I said I want to learn how to do it, because I like to be independent. I really like to be independent. I didn't want to be a burden on my wife. She was already overwhelmed with what was happening. So when I came home, the thing that really that was hard for me, though, I got a case. Is like something bigger than this, and it was filled with blood thinners. No, that is something that you have to stick yourself with. I think twice a day, and that was it. Because I've never had to self-inject myself before, so it was kind of just not so kosher. I didn't have a lot of tablets to take, thank God, but that I had to do. And I remember sometime I'll be right here broadcasting, and I just put up something on the camera and take care of business and home back the camera and broadcast, like nothing happened.
Right.
And that was one of the things that even now blows a lot of people's mind, because I was never off the scene for any long time, for all that happened, for them to understand. So the healing process was timely. Every time that a nurse would come to look, she would say, yes, you're healing nicely. As a matter of fact, say for instance, they were supposed to come visit me for 2 weeks. After 1 week, they said, Mr. Lingo, honestly, I don't really need to come because you're good. You have everything under control. You're healing nicely. Every time I had a doctor appointment and I show up, everything was just
Right.
good. They were surprised that I
Mm-hmm.
was healing so fast,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it reached now after a couple of months now, because of the processing, they said, you know what, let us do a test to see if there will be any leakage if we try to change and to reverse the ostomy. That too was one of the hardest thing I had to do,
Right. Right.
because I had to add, I had a book that I had to use. Every outtake has to be written, every intake has to be written. If you
Mm.
put out two later, you have to try putting back two. Oh my goodness, it was like going to
Mm-hmm.
university.
Mm-hmm.
And that was hard to do, but God was
Right.
always there. And I had full support from my wife,
Mm-hmm.
from day one. Marsha and Maxine, there are two nurses. They would come over and they would help me. Any little problem I have, they would come and help me,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that everything worked fine. So the healing process was good, was really good. It was nothing happened that would have put me in any harm's way. It was good.
Right. Right. It is the official book launch of Cancer is Not a Death Sentence, and we're talking to Dr. Lingo, and who's an author and also the editor of the book. Mr. Joe Benjamin is here with us, and we are having dialogue, man. We are having conversation about the situation that he went through. To watch our brother go through what he did, I mean, it was touching for a lot of us, and I see. I see a bunch of supporters on the
Oh
live.
yes, oh yes, a whole lot.
I mean, Charlize Young. Matter of
Mm.
fact, she's welcoming everybody, man. She treated it like church. She bringing them in, ushering them in.
She's
You
one,
know,
she's one of the moderators that really just take all, just take control of
take
things.
control of
Very,
that.
very,
Love
very
it,
awesome.
love
Yeah,
it,
man.
love it. But we have Alma Matisse. Say congratulations, Reverend Lingo. Blessings from above. And I try to put some of them up on the screen so
Yes,
you
I
can
saw
see
you.
them. Marsha Dinwall is here with us tonight. God bless you, Sister Marsha. God bless you, man. Were there any setbacks, Dr. Lingo, that you had, something that you would consider a setback during this experience?
Um, um, uh, are you talking about the first surgery?
Yes.
No, no. For the first surgery, there was not really any setback. Honestly, things kind of really flowed nicely, to the
Mm-hmm.
point when they asked me, I went to do the test. That was also a rugged way, because they had to put liquid to see if there would be any leakage and if everything could
Mm-hmm.
work. And it was really rough, man, really rough. But
Right.
I endured because I know this was the way of which I'm gonna be able to get back to normalcy. So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I can say there was no major setback, anything to really complain about. And I thank God for that. Thank God for that.
Right. What about the second surgery?
Oh Lord, well, no, no. All right. After all of that, and they
Yeah.
reversed the ostomy, and
Uh-huh.
I went back to life, in certain respect,
Right.
and
Right.
start having my regular food again, because before I was on strict diet. I couldn't eat this,
Mm.
I couldn't eat that, I couldn't drink this, I couldn't drink that. So I kind of went back to normalcy, and start enjoying life. Right after it happened, then comes COVID. So that too kind of just put everything under control. So now I can't do my cruise, I can't go on vacation, I can't do anything. But the good thing was that with all of that time, just coming out of that major surgery and going through the whole COVID process, and not affected by it. There was family member. I mean, I benefited from it because there was family member that had it, and every time a family member show up, I get, I think it was 7 days with pay from work. So I was enjoying it in that respect.
Right.
But other than
Right.
that,
Right.
everything
Right.
went well. And like I said, after COVID, I started cruising, but I noticed that I was kind of going back into the same thing that used to happen, passing the blood and seeing all of that thing and feeling uncomfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
my piece is not regular, and not what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
accustomed to, and I started to really wonder. But then because they said to me that within 4 to 5 years there's a possibility that it may return, and the doctor also said, the surgeon, that I took more than I needed just to be safe. Now
Wow,
with
wow,
those
wow.
two combination, I am not expecting anything like that anytime soon. And so a year and a half, when I went to do my annual checkup, and I went back to the doctor, did the colonoscopy again, and again he saw pulps, he moved pulps, but
Hmm.
then again he saw something that didn't look right again, and
Oh,
I'm like,
really? Wow.
again.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then
What kind of panic was setting in?
uh,
Any panic was setting in at that point?
I'm concerned because
Concern, yeah.
I'm like, this could, because I'm going from the basis of the 5 year, and the fact that he said he took more than he needed. So after I went to do the colonoscopy, he did the test, and I was at studio this time with Gifton. I was just recording. Though I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. As I finished, as Gifton finished the song, as I finished recording it, my phone rang, and I ran out of the studio, and it was the doctor again. Mr. Lingo, how are you? It's me. I know this is not what you want to hear, but boy, the cancer come back. I said, Doc, what you mean? I said, it's just a year and a half. I
Yeah.
said, you told me you took more
Hmm.
than you wanted to be safe.
Hmm.
The other doctor told me that it was between 4 to 5 years before I would have any form of reoccurrence. So what's going
Right.
on? Are you trying to tell me this is going to be an annual event? That I'm going to do an annual surgery? And
Hmm.
so I was adamant, and we had a conversation, and after that I went in and we were talking, and he was like, we got to start prep for surgery. I said, excuse me. I said, Doc, right now I'm not feeling that, I'm not thinking that, because I'm looking, and if I just did it, why should I do it again? So I start questioning, and I start doing a little more research, and I spoke to my primary, and I said, with technology, with where we are with technology now, this should be a thing of the past. We shouldn't have to
Right.
always be doing surgery. And he said, yes, there are a lot of other ways of handling it, And I went back to my surgeon, and he was saying, boy, the only thing you know of is surgery, but then not recognizing that he's a surgeon. So he's not going to recommend anything else, because that's what he
Hmm.
does. That's his job. So I spoke to my sister, and she recommended me to a doctor she used to work with. My wife and I, we went to New York. We saw him, and I had to go do another colonoscopy test. And when the test came back,
Hmm.
because I wanted a second opinion, it really came back that yes, you really have cancer. Now they're thinking that I'm going to do a surgery in New York, and I said, no, I'm not doing a surgery
Right.
in New York. If I
Okay.
ever I'm going to do a surgery, it's going to be in Connecticut, where I'm among family. But I honestly was serious about not really wanting to do another
Hmm.
surgery. So I started to do the natural thing. I went to this lady that put like cameras in your eyes, and from that she read it, and I didn't even tell her that I had cancer. And when she had the reading, it picks up that there was something happening. So I said, okay, I start doing the natural thing. My brother, when you look in my house, you think it's a pharmacy. And the natural pill is like where you get cow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, some
yeah.
huge stuff. And I
Wow.
start doing that, and gluten free. Then I was off. I could only have gluten free from sugar. The only thing I did not gluten free was water. I had
Mm.
my own cupboard at home. Everything, milk, everything you think of, gluten free,
Hmm.
bread, everything. And so that, but the thing, it kind of helped a little bit, but
Hmm.
it did not solve the problem. And
Right.
then there was another person that I had to go to. I think they did something, your feet, and they give them certain reading. And then I get another set of tablet from those people, and I start take that again. And just
Mm.
trying to find every other way out
Right.
as not to do the surgery. Then my
Hmm.
good friend Dr. Bevan Malcolms, we spoke, because we're always in conversation, and she said, you know
Hmm.
what? Um, there is this thing that's called laser that they can use to shrink the cancer.
Hmm.
And she knows somebody that went through that. So I spoke to my primary, and he said yes, he made the link. And so I decided, no, now I'm going to do laser. And I said, that sounds more like it. So while I had a conversation with him, he was saying to that he wanted me to do chemo. I said, no, I will not. I refuse to do chemo. And so he said, is not the regular chemo, is the tablet form. And so I end up doing that. The whole thing is that it worked for a little bit, but then I end up back again in the same position, and it gets worse. It gets so bad that at some point, and I'm gonna just cut short because I'm not telling everybody all the book. They need to go get it and read it. At some point, I lose control of my bowels. That's how serious it had become. But with all of that, I insist that I wasn't going to do another surgery. I actually fired the surgeon and got a new one. And we had a conversation, and I said, sir, let me tell her from day one, I am not here about the cancer. That's the least of my problem. I don't worry about that. What I'm here, I want to be able to pass my feces freely. And he said, okay, I can put in a stent that will push the cancer that is pushing back on you. And needless to say, we didn't get to do all of that because in the process to get to do that, I had a blockage. And from the blockage, I had to clear the blockage. And then it was from one situation to another. And with all of that, I'm praying. But what kept me, Delroy, I had a church base, a set of people at church from Calvary and from Trinity Community Church. I had some prayer warriors.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, Dr. Bevan Malcolm, Dr. Bevan Malcolm, and the prayer team from the station, the gatekeepers, my wife and the Pastor Lee, Sister Allison, some people that just not letting go. Elder Hudson, they just not letting up. And my pastor was one of my main influence. I could always talk to my pastor and he always encourage me. Every now and then, if I'm feeling a little way, I'll get a text. Minister Lingo, I'm thinking about you. How you doing? And so he would pray for me. There is what we call a church. At church, we have I call it the healing chair. There's a chair that is placed at the back of the church. It's covered. It's a white chair, I think, and it's covered. It's nobody sitting in it. It's only used when God instruct my pastor to bring it into the church. There was one time that God instructed him. There was a gentleman with AIDS, of days to live, and pastor took the chair in. He sat in it. Pastor prayed over him. He's alive and well today. When he went back, there was no trace of AIDS in his blood. So we have had many testimony about that chair. And so when he pulled it out, I felt good because I know that something was about to happen. And so I had my time in the chair as well. And through the whole process, I realized that my whole hope, my intention, my heart was not wavering. I know that healing had to be. I said, God, let me tell you something. I do surgeries, I do chemo, I do all of that. None of that work. I said, the only thing I've not experienced is healing. And so that is my next move. And through the process, what it did, Delroy, and that's why I'm glad that in 2019 I didn't get healed, because I wouldn't have a story. I could not write a book. And I would not be where I am spiritually, because this has allowed me to become more connected to God, because by this I start becoming more sincere in the word, start understanding the word, and start having that kind of conversation with God. And I remember when I said, when something struck me about my temple, yes, my body, which is the temple of God. And I start coming to the realization that my eye gate, my mouth gate, and my ear gate, the Lord point out those three things, that those are what contribute directly to my temple. And I said, God, I'm going to do everything I can physically from a human perspective to make sure that I keep the temple clean, because I want you to live in my temple. Right. And I stopped watching television maybe about 8 to 9 months now. I've not watched a television. I go on cruise, I see television, I go to the hotel, everywhere. I fly on the plane and I see it, and I have totally locked myself away from that. I stopped listening certain things. I stopped speaking certain things, because I realized that these are contributors to the temple. I said, God, now I'm giving you my temple and I'm fixing it the way I can. I say, see, the cancer, I can do nothing about it. And if you want a cancer-ridden body, then it's on you. And I know you don't. So I leave that in your hands. And when all is said and done, after I did the blockage and I'm expecting now that everything is going to be all right, when they were doing that surgery, the doctor saw something inside. And then he did a scanning. And then when he came back, after all of that surgery, and I'm thinking I'm good to go now. Now I'm asked to come into the office. And
Yeah.
then when he came, he didn't come alone. He come with another lady. And I'm like, this is
Wow.
unusual. So she came and they sat down and they looked, and the surgery that they just did, they asked me and they said everything looks good and all of that looking nice. Then he said to me, the test that the surgeon did came back, and now you have stage 4 cancer. And it is so bad that we can't even do surgery, because doing surgery can expose it to all the intestine, and that can just mess up things. They said the only thing that can be done, two things, and he explained, is like you would open me up and use bleach to bleach out my inside. Or we have to do excessive chemo before they can even think about surgery. And so it is that with all of that said, I said, I am not doing a surgery and I'm not doing chemo. And there's a whole lot of story pertaining to that, how it is that I make declaration and how it is that I got my healing. But I'm leaving some for them to read.
Reading the book. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking to Dr. Lingo here. Cancer is not a death sentence. Brother Benjamin, you have heard, I mean, you read the book, you know, you edited the book, and you're hearing him talk about it again. What kind of impact does a book like this have on you, the reader? Because we're encouraging people to buy the book to read it.
Right.
What kind of impact it has on you as a reader?
Now, one thing I can tell you is that Dr. Lingo says this story exactly the same every single time he has said it.
Yes, yes, word for word almost.
Word for word. So that's
Oh,
just to
God.
prove to somebody out there that this is legit, this is true.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it said, if you lie, you forget what you said the last time, you say something different. But every time, Dr. Lingo
Yeah.
says his story exactly the same. And
Wow.
that's phenomenal, because it just speaks to how authentic his story is. And in terms of the impact, I I love it because cancer is something that affects many people. Cancer is something that even people that haven't had it, there's people that are scared of getting it when they don't have it or they've never had it. But it speaks to cancer. Cancer is not a death sentence, which is really, it speaks to the root of the problem of cancer, which is fear. That's the biggest thing. Fear, the fear of cancer is worse than the cancer itself.
Itself.
And in a nutshell, that's what Dr. Lingo was trying to express, but with such authenticity. He's real. And so I want to encourage everybody to get a copy. Jump onto
You gotta get a
Amazon,
copy, man.
grab a copy. Not only that, buy a few copies, gift some to other people.
Right.
You know, if you know anybody that's ill, it doesn't have to be cancer. Anything that they're suffering from, I challenge you, get a copy, give somebody that's not well, that's trusting God for healing. That book will give them faith to believe that God is still a healer and God can set them free.
Wow. Wow.
And Dr. Delroy, if I may, I just want to say that the way in which, all right, if I had written something and sent it to him, he would have it to look at and can work with. The unique thing and why I really respect this young man is all that he got from me was voice notes. I just recorded things, and he in essence translated it.
Right.
And play. I mean, when I read back some of the things, when I read the book, I said honestly, even if I had nothing to do with this book, I would buy the book. And one other thing I like is the way in which he worked. He said, "Is this okay?" And he wants to make sure that I'm
Right.
comfortable with
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
everything.
Right.
That it
That
sounds like you.
it says, let me tell you something. I will make suggestions, but at the end of the day, it has to be what it is that you want. And anytime you recommend anything, is the perfect recommendation.
Listen. Right.
Even when we're doing the cover and he send quite a few covers and I say, you know what, this is what I want. What kind of book you want? You want, or what size you want it? How much pages? The whole thing is that is the way in which he works alongside and make sure even the scriptures, everything that is connected, everything is connected. And the way in which he present the book, I tell you, man, I couldn't have been more pleased. Because to do what he did within the timeline that he did it is nothing short of a miracle. And I want to say, anybody under the sounding of my voice, if you, because you talk to a lot of people and they say, yeah, man, I need to write a book. You need to do it. And this is the man. This man will make sure whatever it is that you want to put out, that it goes out the way it's supposed to. He is a born again believer. So this the spiritual connection that I need to be a witness. He just mentioned that somebody was writing a book and go to the author, and the author didn't believe what they were saying. This
Right.
man was
Right.
convinced, and he knows this. He connects with healing and with what God can do and all of these good stuff. So my brother, man, I tell you, man, I can't stop. My wife can tell you, I can't stop from saying, honored I am to have met you and to be able to have worked with you. And that's why I know God is in this, because he orchestrates everything. And I quickly want to say thanks to my wife, because she went through, I would want to say hell, but she went through a lot as a caregiver. She went through a lot. I want to share one story. In the second aspect of me going back, when I took in, I got up the morning and I realized that that things weren't going where it's supposed to go. The stoma had elapsed, and it was huge. It was just ridiculous. And we had to go to the emergency, and we went to the emergency, and I don't know why they call it emergency, because you spend more time waiting to see or to hear from somebody than you
Right.
really get taken care of. Anyway, when we got into that room, and I was really in pain, and I was in so much pain that I was sitting there, and I bent over to take up my phone, and my wife realized that and said, "He's taking up his phone. Why is it taking him so long to take up the phone?" When I went over to take up the phone, I passed out. And when my wife realized, and she went out and bawl, and everybody running, and I realized, and when they came, and when I came to everybody, I see more people than I can imagine. Everything was done, and I realized even that God had a plan in it. Even the twice I
Right.
passed
Right.
out, and it was the will of God. My brother, when I passed out and she shout out,
Yeah.
everybody come and string you up, and I got taken care of immediately. Twice it happened, and the same thing, I got immediate attention. And there were other times that I go that, and I went through more cruciating pain. But God know that I could have handled it, or things would have been different. So let me tell you something, man. And she sat down there, and man, I tell you, it wasn't easy for her. It
It's
was
good to
not
have a good wife.
easy. Hmm?
It's good to have a good
It's
wife.
good to have a good wife. It's very good to have a good wife. You understand? And I just
Yes,
want
sir.
to make sure, just to say to her how appreciative I am, and how much I appreciate her for sticking by me. You understand? Because we say it, but sometimes it's not that we know it before. When we say for better or for worse, we say it because they tell us to say it. You
Right.
understand? But when
Right.
the worst come, for you to really stand by and say, yes, let me handle this, is a whole different ball game. So I want to salute my beautiful wife. My thank you, sweetheart.
All
Love
right,
you
Sister
world
Nick.
without end, and you know that you're not my number one. You're my only one.
The only one.
Yeah, man.
Love it.
Not my
Love it.
number
Love
one. Not my first lady. My only lady.
it. Dr. Lingo,
Yes, sir.
I want you to look in your camera when you respond to this question. I'm going to ask you, are you cancer free?
My brother, I was at stage 3, then I went to stage 4, and I'm
Mhm.
no stage. Oh, let me take out the glasses. I am no stage at all. I'm like
No
my wife.
stage.
My wife is not number one, not number two, the only one. So I am cancer free. You saw my picture. You saw how I
Yes.
was looking. You see all
Yeah.
of that.
No, I saw you.
Okay, okay. Exactly. And the other day when I weighed on the scale, I'm like, I'm gonna have to start watching my weight.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
okay,
Yeah, put
okay.
on weight now.
No, we're not talking about, man. So I have no doubt
Wow.
in my
Yeah. Yeah.
mind, no doubt whatsoever. This is
Cancer
what
free.
it is. Yeah, man, cancer free. Free,
Wow.
free, free. From cancer set free. I have met the man, the man of Galilee. Took away my cancer and give
Yes.
me a spiritual answer.
Amen now.
And
Amen
now I'm
now.
singing glory, hallelujah. Yeah, man, I'm excited, man. You see,
Oh.
and like Brother Joe says, a lot of people that has cancer, cancer didn't kill them.
Mm-hmm.
They die because they give up hope. They worry
Mm-hmm.
themselves to death. They give up hope. You have to want to live. Anything you
Mm-hmm.
go through, if you go through a surgery, you have
Mm-hmm.
to have a desire to want to live. Your body
Mm-hmm.
respond to you wanting to live.
Live.
When you
Yeah.
give up, your body give up.
Yeah.
So it's not the cancer that is killing people. It's the fact
Mm-hmm.
that they are at a place where, because what they heard or what they believe, then they take that into consideration and that takes them home. But not the cancer. Most time it's not the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Once you believe and you trust God and you say, God, this is it. And God tell me from day one that cancer is not a death sentence. How can I doubt him? How can I not believe him? It's just that there was a process that I had to go through so
Right.
that I could come now. Until I was reading something the other day and it was talking about Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
If Joseph brother hadn't sold him, if they hadn't sold him, he wouldn't have fulfilled his purpose. He was talking about God, the master plan.
Mm-hmm.
God's master plan for our life. And in God's plan, for him to get to where he wanted to go, he had to go through that process.
Mm.
For me to get to where I am today, I had to go through all of that process to come around. Because
Mm-hmm.
God wanted to add to everything as an author to my resume, my life. He wanted me to be able to tell the story. Because I know I'm not afraid to talk.
Right.
You understand? So he allowed me to have that experience that I can share it. And I want
Mm-hmm.
to say this, and honestly, when a book is sold, I benefit from it. But the truth is, I really want people to get the book. If I had the power, if I was the now millionaire that I'm going to be a couple of years from now, I would have gave the book away because I want everybody to have a copy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I, and,
Yes.
and and Sir Joe and I have the same intention because I want it to go and translate into different languages, and
Mm.
so that it can just cover the world, just cover the world. Yeah, I know that it's gonna bring change and transformation to people's life. And there's been a lot of fight from the enemy where it is concerned because he
Mm-hmm.
know that a lot of his plans are gonna fail. There's a lot of people that he has captive right now that's gonna be released. It's going to
Mm.
be a holiday for a lot of people. So I'm encouraging everybody, get a book, and as Brother Joe said, not just one. Anybody you know that is sick,
Give
whatever
somebody else
sickness
one.
they
Yeah.
have, anything
Yeah.
that they're struggling from,
Yeah.
get a book for your home first, read it, and give it to others. That's a way of witnessing to your neighbors and your friends.
I got a message for you.
Yeah.
Your wife said she love you too, babes.
Love you too, Boogie. Love you for free. Love you for free.
Love you too, babes. Can't get no
She's a,
better than that.
she's a testimony. Dr.
Yeah.
Linford Jameson, Minister
Yeah.
Marsha Dingwall, and Waterman French. My goodness, all of my friends. Alma Matisse, praise
They're
God.
all out there.
Yeah, man, all of my friends. Dr.
But
Bevan
Dr.
Malcolm,
Bravo,
Mm-hmm.
Viola Dawkins, Christopher Rose, my brother, Kingdom Man. How you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
All right.
Minister Molly
You're not
Jameson.
gonna do a roll.
All
You're not
right.
gonna do a roll call on this live, okay? We're not doing a roll call
All
this
right,
live.
so I'm sorry, sir.
I want everybody. I want everybody to know where they can go and find the book today. today, it is available on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.com.
Amazon,
But
yes.
what I want everybody to do is, if you have your phone with you, I need you to send a text message saying that I need a copy of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to send a text message to 860-593-1238. All right, that's 860-593-1238. And let the person who answers this phone, to let him know that you need a copy of the book. All
And
right,
they'll
it's
get a
easier for
signed
you to
copy.
get a copy of the book. You'll get a
They'll get an
signed
autograph
copy.
copy.
A
Yes.
matter of fact, a
Yes.
signed copy of the book. If you can text that number right now, tell them the number again.
And also want to let them
860.
know that this signature going to be very valuable. It's valuable now, but it's going to be
Valuable.
way more valuable later on in life. So it's an
Yeah.
investment. 860-593-1238. The book is $20. It's $9.99 to mail it. So if you're out of Connecticut, it's
Right.
$30. You can just send it to the Cash App as well, or Zelle. It's $9.99 to mail it to you if you're out of Connecticut. So you can just also send that to Cash App or to Zelle and get
All
your
right. Well done.
signed copy,
You get a signed autograph,
autograph.
signed
Yes,
copy
yes,
of the book. So
yes.
send a text message now, and you'll get the message, and you'll get your book real soon. Once you send your money, your book is on the way. All
Hmm.
right. Well, I have one final question that I want to ask you, Dr. Lingo, because well, it's not so much a question, but what encouragement would you give to somebody who's facing the very same boat that you went through of this deadly disease?
Yes. My encouragement to them would be, first of all, to get your spiritual life intact. God will not put new wine into old vessel.
Yes, sir. My
and,
God.
and and that is what I had
Yes,
to
sir.
do over these years. I had to get my life in check, and when my life was totally at the place where God want me to be, then God said, okay, let me come now and deal with this vessel and exercise your faith in God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Believe. Don't speak anything negative. Don't believe anything negative. Be positive in your mind and say, God, I know you're a healer. Because remember, I said, by my stripes you are healed. Not that you're going
Yes.
to be healed.
Yes.
We are
Yeah.
already healed. It doesn't matter
Healed.
what the ailment is. It's just that the manifestation has not yet take place. It's just to activate the healing, but it's already there.
Wow.
So we now just need to activate the healing. And we do that by living a life that is pleasing. Say, God, here is my temple. I'm having problem with it. I want you to live in it, but it have some problems. So I want you to take care of it. And if you trust and believe God based on His word, because He can't fail. Once God says something, it is going to happen. The only thing is that there's something that we always have to do for that to
Right.
become effective. And as long as we do that, pray consistently, have a good devotional life, a good prayer life. I think Christians are believers born again. We shouldn't say prayers and go to bed. We should have a devotion in the night. Spend time in the presence of God. Not say good night, Jesus, and good morning, Jesus. Because that doesn't give you a relationship. You can only have a relationship with God when you spend time in His presence. Read the Word of God, the things that make sense. And when you read the Word of God, you allow the Word of God to minister unto you.
Right.
So if you're struggling, it doesn't matter what the sickness is, it could be cancer, whatever it is, I am here to tell you that you are in a position to be healed. Healing is the children's bread, says the Word of God. All you have to do is to trust God, believe in Him, live a life that is compatible to His Word, and watch God step in and do what He has to do. Sometimes you go through some stuff, because there's a process that we have to go through.
Right.
And first question, God, are you getting glory out of this? Is this the way you plan for me to get to the next level, to where I need to go? So that would be my takeaway for
Wow.
you.
Wow. I respect that, sir, and I appreciate that very, very much. Any final words from you, Mr. Joe Benjamin?
Final word
World
is
class author
just
and
want
editor.
just want to say it was such an honor and a pleasure to work with Dr. Lingo, and of course, looking forward to collaboration. For me, it's a collaboration. It's a
Yes.
ministry
Mm-hmm.
partnership because we are ministry. What it's doing is ministry coming together. But also, I don't know if I can just show you something very quickly before we
Oh,
close.
Oh
sure.
yes.
Um, Now, I know that there will be people that are going to be ringing the number to get a
Hmm.
copy of the book, which is great. What's special about ringing the number is that, of course, you're going to get a signed copy. Remember, that's a multi-million dollar signature. All right. So it's important
Amen.
to give that number a ring.
Mm-hmm.
However, there will be some people that perhaps find it easier going on Amazon. Now,
Hmm.
here's what I want to show you. Just I was checking this while we were live just a few moments ago. I hope
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to show you my screen. Let's see if I
Let me share it.
can. Okay, can you see that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not just yet.
All right.
Oh,
Okay,
something pops
There
up
we
at the
go. I
bottom.
got it.
Right. Yeah.
I got it. I got
Okay.
it. I got it. I got it.
Okay.
All right. There we go. You're
right. Can
seeing
you
it now.
see?
Okay.
I'm on
Right. Yeah.
Amazon right
Yes.
now.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at as of present, if you go on Amazon, if you go on the book, you or for different categories, you get Amazon bestsellers.
Mm.
Now, I'm excited and honored to say that if you check this now, we are actually in the top 10 best-selling
Mm.
books in this category. So if you see book number one, two, three, four, five,
Yeah.
6, 7, and Dr. Lingo is right there on number 8
Wow.
right now. So we are in the top 10. And as you keep ordering and
Hmm.
making your purchases, of course, this is through for the Amazon people, right?
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. Right.
If you are doing the number, that's a different metric. But for Amazon, um,
Mm-hmm.
you will, of course, help this book to get to number one
Mm.
on Amazon. And also very important for those that are doing that, make sure you come back and leave a review on Amazon
Yes.
because that will help the book to do well, other people to see that in the algorithm, Amazon algorithm likes reviews. So if you're one of those
Mm-hmm.
that have purchased on Amazon, make sure you leave a review. So I just thought that was something just interesting to encourage you that we are already in the top 10 in that category, which is amazing.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Praise
Thank you,
God.
sir. Thank
Mm.
you. Thank
Awesome.
you very much.
Yeah,
Once again.
and
Mm-hmm.
also again, I want to encourage anybody. Can you give some information? And if you want to put up something, how you can be reached, because I'm sure there's a lot of person listening right now.
Our
That,
social media too. Let me follow
yes,
you on social media, man. What's your social media
That's right,
handle?
absolutely. So you can follow me social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Joe Benjamin. You can find me there, YouTube as well, or just go to our website, joebenjamin.org, if you want to maybe send an email. But yeah, social is easy. Send me a message, and we'll be happy to, see how we can help you make your author dreams come true.
Wow.
and I just want to say, guys, it's very, 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 very reasonable. Very, 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 very reasonable. Trust
100%.
me.
100%.
Yes, 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 yes. I think, and again, this is a ministry. So
Right.
he's not doing it to become rich, because the amount of book that he has worked with, and it's because he is reasonable and allow folks.
Yes.
Sometimes folks just call and have an idea, and
Yes.
when he's
Mm-hmm.
finished with them, they have books,
That's it.
because there are people with dreams and goals and things that you have gone through. He's the kind of person that will allow you to have a conversation, and then from that, he can decide and say, yes, you need to write on this topic or write on this word. So
Right. Right.
he's one of the best, man. Honestly, I don't think there's,
Thank you
there's,
so
there's
much.
better than him out there.
I'm really honored and thank you for those kind words.
Well, we're
Yes,
glad to have you, sir, and thank you again. Thank you, Dr. Lingo. Thank
yes,
you for sharing
and
your story
thank
with
you,
us
sir.
today.
Because as talking about blessings, Sir Benjamin has been a blessing. You too has been a blessing. because while doing so many other things and not even getting to a place to think about the book launch, you already plan the book launch and just inform me of it, and I really appreciate it. You're a
That's
real true brother. Yeah, man, I respect, appreciate it.
no, it's an honor, and I need to get you as well on my platform as well to get you an interview.
Yes,
At
yes,
some point, I think that'll be good to. So we
Very
just keep
nice.
spreading, get the word out. You know, I'll get you on my
That's right.
Facebook and YouTube as well. It'll be amazing.
All
yes,
right,
yes, yes.
man.
Hmm.
Well, thank you again, guys. And thank you so much, our listening audience and our watching audience. God bless you. Thank you for your comments and thank you for watching. And go buy the book. Go buy the book. 860 or go on
Or
Amazon.
jump on
You can
Amazon, because
boost up that sale.
Amazon works too, because we want to get in the bestseller, and it's the
Yeah,
books that
man.
are bought through Amazon
Go to
that is going to
Amazon. I'm
get
gonna
us
buy mine on Amazon right now, a matter of fact.
and the
So
bestseller. So
go
jump
get
on
yours.
Amazon, guys, and get your book.
Go get yours. God bless. Thank you so very much, sir. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. God bless. Have a good one.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here's what's going down.
here's what's going down. Here's what's going down, Daddy.
We are
GL365 Radio.
information.
Music.
If you don't know, now you know.
Chase that dial.
GL365